I'd like to call this meeting to order. We will skip item 1.2, the invocation and pledge, since we already did that previously. And I will read a quick notice of our meeting guidelines. Citizen input is vital to the improvement of our school district. Most times your remarks may be listened to without comment from the board members or superintendent. This does not mean it is listened to with any less intensity or concern. Where appropriate, the school board, superintendent, and staff will investigate your comments and report to you with an answer. We thank you for taking the time and having the concern to make our district better. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes. All right, so we will move to item 2.1, approval of minutes. So I would entertain a motion to approve minutes of the school board workshop, October 23rd.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, that was loud. Who was that?
Mrs. Patty and
Jane.
Okay, thank you.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2.2, we need a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, October 25th.
I move to approve the minutes of the regular school board meeting of October 25th, 2023.
Second.
Do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3.1 is the Guardian Program discussion with Glades County Sheriff David Hardin, and I will turn that over to Superintendent Barfield.
Sheriff Hardin called me this afternoon. He said due to an emergency dental procedure, he was unable to make the meeting, but I feel that we should at least allow comments if anyone in our audience would like to comment on the program.
Okay. So, do we have any comment cards for agenda items? Is there anybody that wanted to comment on agenda items? All right, seeing none, we'll move ahead. And that will be on the next agenda, correct?
Correct.
We'll move that to the next meeting. All right, item 4.1, approve proposed amendments to the agenda. We do have some amendments, so we'll need a motion and a second to approve those amendments.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda. Does anyone need to remove anything from the consent agenda? If so, what's the item number, please? All right, seeing none, I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
A motion to approve as consent agenda. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So we'll move to action item 7.1. We need a motion to approve the amount the Glades County School Board will contribute monthly to our employees for insurance for 2024.
A motion to approve the amount the Glades County School Board will contribute monthly to employees for insurance for 2024.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? That amount is $750 per employee for the audience. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 7.2, approval to hold special meeting on November 16th at 5 p.m. to approve the new school construction management contract.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
That is the day that we're having our presentation, correct?
Yes, it's right before.
Okay. Yeah, the presentation is at 6.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Okay, we'll move to the amended agenda items. Jackie, are they all on here that were on the previous? Looks like at 4, okay. So item 8.1 we need a motion to approve the MOU between the Glades County Teachers Association and Glades County School Board for board contribution for group medical insurance for 2024.
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 8.2, approval of the job description for the Director of Technology. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the job description for the Director of Technology.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I just want to clarify that this is approving the job description, not a position. So we will entertain the idea of adding a position at a later date. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.3, discussion of eviction notice. And I will pass that over to Dr. Barfield.
Do we have it printed in our file? Okay.
Just, yeah, we just, do they have any comments on the letter? Or questions? Huh?
Okay, so I forwarded you each a email today, a letter that I would like to proceed moving forward to the EDC with your,
That's all right. We have it in our email. We got it in our email.
with your permission, I'd like to move forward with sending that to the EDC. I felt that this second letter was a lot more appropriate than the first letter, and so I'd like for you to grant me permission to move forward.
Can you clarify, and I should have asked you earlier and we ran out of time, so can you clarify what the document dated March 8th, 2011, what is that document? I was only aware of the 1985 one.
I'm sorry, I don't have that one with me, but there are two different documents recorded.
And they're both regarding the same piece of property?
Yes.
What is that one?
It's an interlocal agreement, but I think the parties are the same.
So the party in both cases is the Chamber of Commerce?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Which disbanded in
For the last time.
2012.
Right, for the last time in 2012.
Well, I just want to say, and I hope I'm wording this correctly, I want to sound intelligent in case it gets played on the radio. That I feel like we have tried to resolve this issue in a cooperative manner. Dr. Barfield has met with the EDC. There's been numerous conversations about what we are asking, and what we have never at any time wanted to do away with the rides at Chalabitka or prevent them from having the rides. That was one of the things that we all made very clear at the beginning of this process. It seems to me, and I don't know who was on the school board in 1985, so I'm not pointing any fingers, but it seems to me that signing a lease agreement for 99 years is not keeping the best interest of the students of Glades County in mind. In 1985, those board members had no idea what the growth was going to be, what the need was going to be. The property belonged to the district. I have no problem with leasing some of it, but it just seems to me that that was probably not in the best interest of our students to sign a 99-year lease. But that being said, we've asked them to negotiate with us. They seem to point their fingers at us and ask us to produce a document stating that the EDC is the successor of the chamber. And I feel like that's their responsibility to prove to us that they're the successor. And they don't seem to be willing or able to do that. So with that being said, I can only speak for myself. I think we need to move forward with termination of the lease.
I agree.
I agree.
So in 1985, I was not born yet, so,
Right.
and it,
Sorry, 30.
Just a young chick.
receiving an eviction notice for something, I understand that, you know, there's things that we as a board have to decide, and I also understand that there's things that we have to do legally, but the word eviction notice means get your stuff and get out. And it also states get your stuff and get out in that letter. I don't feel like that's the way to move forward, as the last conversation was that have your attorney meet with mine or have a sit-down roundtable discussion. That's just my personal opinion. When I see an eviction notice, I just don't feel comfortable, as just my one vote, moving forward with that.
Well, I agree with you, Kim. I don't like that we are having to do this at this point. I personally spoke to the president of the EDC on 3 or 4 occasions, as late as yesterday, trying to work out a mutual agreement where we would have an MOU that would name them as the successor, and the same document would give us the 50 feet, and then we would be able to, everybody walk away from the table getting what we felt that we needed to move forward. But, you know, they were not willing to do that. And as much as I don't want to do it either, I really am saddened that it's come to this, but we have to keep moving forward with our construction. We have too much at stake that we could lose if we let this argument over 50 feet stop construction. And so reluctantly, I will agree to send it, because hopefully when it's received, there will be more of an impetus to sit down and talk it out, because as adults, that's what we should do.
Exactly.
And I think everybody would agree that it's in the best interest of the school district to keep moving forward with the construction plans that we have. And I just really regret it, but I've tried personally to reach out and have conversations. And, you know, it's not necessarily the leadership of the group. It's more, you know, not a consensus of the group was the impression that I got. And, you know, we can't go to their meeting and sit down and hash it out. They have to come to this meeting in the sunshine. We can't be in their boardroom and talk about it with them, or we're breaking the law. They've made no attempt to call and say, hey, put us on your agenda. We need to get this straight. They know the sunshine law. They know that we can't do that. So I would be in agreement to go ahead, hoping that we do not have to do anything drastic, but that when the receipt of the letter will be enough to say, okay, we hear you. You guys aren't backing down. We'll talk this out.
And I'm glad that the letter was revised. I like the second edition better than the first edition. And if they'll read the whole thing, the last paragraph gives them the opportunity to do what we've been asking. You know, we're asking them to negotiate in good faith with a proper party to arrive at a suitable lease arrangement for the continued benefit of the Chalanika Festival.
Yes.
That's what we want. We want them to negotiate with us in good faith. We don't want to take away Chalanika, but we need 50 feet.
Right. And we will, for the public that's here and that's listening, we will not, or I'm speaking for myself, I assume I'm speaking for the rest of you, but none of us intend to interfere with the festival at all. It will still be able to be held there. You know, we are not going to try to stop that. And I just don't want that getting out of this room and into the public, oh, we're going to have to cancel Chalanika because the boards, you know, that is not. If the festival committee wants to come to us, you know, and nobody's trying to stop Chalanika, okay? Trying to get 50 feet of unused, unmowed property
That we own.
that we own to complete our project. And just as a reminder, the reason we're building there is because we did not want to interfere with the ball fields. We are not going to put the bus barn on the ball fields. I'd like that on public record also. You know, our intention as a board was to locate this school, and what we believed, with the information we had at the time, was the best location. There were a lot of people in the community that felt like it should be done like we did the high school, rebuilt in the same location. I, for one, was adamantly against that. I spoke with teachers that worked there during that construction. I spoke with the principal who was there during that construction. The Parkland shooting had not happened prior to that construction. It would have been chaos, and it would have cost us. The money is what's been talked about, the amount of money we would have had to spend on portables, and it was a lot. But my concern was the loss of educational value and time. I did not want our kids listening to hammers and drills and watching construction men walking back and forth. For any of you that are teachers, you know how hard it is to keep your kids' attention. And anything that was going to disrupt their learning, they've already had COVID, they're already behind, everybody in the nation is behind. Why would we intentionally do something that might disrupt learning even more for a D school when we had other properties available that we could use? I mean, it just didn't make sense to me. But anyway, I'm getting way off track now. I apologize for that, but just wanted to throw that out there for fun.
Okay. Got it.
All right, so I think.
No action required.
Right, no action
We have a
required.
consensus.
We're in motion.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to item 8.4, acceptance of the annual financial report for fiscal year 22-23.
I move to accept the annual financial report for fiscal year 22-23 as presented by Carol.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Who made that motion?
I did.
Jean, and second? Patty. Okay, did you say we had a comment? All right, we do have a person in the public that would like to speak, and we are on number 9, general public comments. So, Mr. Curtis Clay, if you'd like to come up to the podium. Remember, you have 3 minutes.
Mr. Clay, I have the timer, so it sounds like a ringer.
No worries, I don't think it'll take 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's kind of a question / comment. So it's my understanding with all the information coming to this school board meeting that we were going to be talking about the Guardian program. And then again, we're not talking about the Guardian program, but I do know the grant is coming due on the 17th. I believe it's the 17th, but I know it's due this month. So again, we're going to miss an opportunity to get state money to improve the security of our school system, and that bothers me. And I believe we're not doing everything in our power to keep our children safe. I'm a big proponent and believer of the Guardian program. I really believe that when the sheriff went down there to the Stoneman Douglas and seen it, that he got woke up to his stance from last year where he argued with me about it. And I thought he was willing to go with it, hopefully. But now again, we're kind of slowing those wheels rolling. And I just really, I know you guys can go ahead and move forward and vote that you want the Guardian program, whether the sheriff is supporting you or not. I believe he's supporting you right now. And then you can move forward on how you were gonna implement it, but at least get the grant wrote so you have the monies to get it moving during the summertime, so then you can make your decisions on how you want to implement it, okay? Because if you do not write the grant and submit it, then the money's gone and you're stuck waiting again until this time next year to try to get the funding to move that program forward. And I just think it'd be remiss on us as citizens and you as a school district not to do everything in your power to keep our children as safe as possible. And I'm sorry I'm having to say this and get up here, but I think this happened in 2018, and it's 2023, and yet you're one of the few school districts that does not have that program in place at some level.
That's not true. There's very few that do have it.
No, there's actually quite a few that have it. There's actually more in this point in time that don't have it.
Well, we do have a deputy at every school.
I guess, ma'am, you do. Don't get me wrong, I totally appreciate that, and I think that's awesome, but we learned with Stoneman Douglas that was not enough. Okay, and we learned, and please understand that if we get to the point of having to use guns on this campus, we've already failed.
We're all for it.
I understand that.
We're all for it.
That's it.
We're all for it, but we want it done right.
I totally agree, but you can write the
We're not
grant.
pockets into it. We want
Okay,
everything
good.
done.
Awesome, you can write the grant and then you can move forward on how you decide to build it. And just so you know, I've been dealing with it for multiple years. I'll be glad to help you in any way possible because it's my grandchildren that go to school here. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Klein.
Can I just make one point? It was not an action item tonight. Just so I can point that to, it was not up for vote even if he had been here.
Right.
Oh, right, it was a information item.
No, I think he was gonna let us, he was gonna give us his stance on it.
Yes, I understand. But it wasn't an item for us to take a vote
But I
on
mean,
today.
we're all for it. We just gotta do it right.
All right, so we'll move to item 10, board member comments and business.
That was my comment.
All right, all right, Jean, do you have any comments?
Sure.
Yes, start with you.
So I'm gonna steal everybody's thunder, right? I want to publicly thank Brian and Dr. Barfield for their presentation at the city council meeting. Brian did an outstanding job, and
Yes.
Dr. Barfield was his support, and Kim, who held the poster board. But I also want to thank, Al's not here tonight, but Al, Doreen, Joanna, Ron, Gabby, and three of our other board members for being there at that meeting. I think that, I think it went really well. I walked out of there feeling good about what happened. And so anyway, thank you, Brian. and Beth.
Also, Mark Wilson and Roberta from Transportation. Who? And Rayon was there. So we packed the house, and it was a great show for Glades County, and that we're all in standing as one.
That's it. That's
Okay.
all I had.
All right, anything else, Jenny?
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay, Patty?
I mean,
Okay. Kim?
I do. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. I want to thank all of our veterans that are in the room. Do we have any veterans in here today? Yes, sir. Thank you for your service. Tomorrow, our elementary schools are having presentations, breakfasts, I do believe.
yes.
Ms. Wills, is she? Do you have some?
Museum, and the kids are gonna visit the museum.
Okay, and Ms. Barfield, do you have?
We're having breakfast at ours.
Okay.
Oh.
Alrighty. So.
Let me put my other hat on.
Breakfast at the elementary
At the
school at
elementary
8:30 and the program at the high school at 9.
Nice.
Yep. Okay. I also had a couple community members ask a couple questions that I talked to Dr. Barfield about. We did address those. Ms. Tammy, since you're here, do you mind, there were concern about many grievances filed throughout the district with our teachers. Can you confirm how many
We
grievances?
had no grievances at all this year so
Okay.
far.
So,
Perfect.
so there are things that are going throughout the community, and if you're not coming to our meetings, you're not hearing what's really happening. Our youth are really thriving, our youth are having fun and learning, and it's the, I don't know the right word, it's the negative chaos that is being rumored around the community. So I want people to come, and I want people to see that our teachers are doing good. If our teachers are saying differently, we do want to know from those teachers. I appreciate so much from teachers that reach out to me. I appreciate from community members that reach out to me. You elected me to do that. So I want to make sure that you are confident enough to reach out to your school board members. If you want to praise somebody, if they're doing good, we need to praise them. If you want to let us know there's negative things happening, maybe somebody didn't go up the right chain, to let them know that they're not doing a good job. So if you're not using those alternatives to go up that umbrella to make sure they know what they're doing, we can help you. But we advise each and every one of our community members, parents, teachers, whatever it is, there's an umbrella that we have worked on to make sure is understandable, transparency to start at the bottom. If it's with your child's teacher, let your child's teacher know you have a problem. If not, then you go to their principal. There's right up the chain to Dr. Barfield. We want to make sure that we are conversating. If you go out in the community and conversate problems that aren't really happening, that's where the negative drama starts. We need to cut that out. We don't need that in our community. I've seen so much positive in our teachers. The EDC meeting we had the other night, there was the fall festival going on at the Challenger grounds. Our FFA kids were there cleaning up as a reward for those kids that worked that festival and cleaned up at the EDC meeting. Mr. Sharp decided to let those kids, as a reward, I remember as an FFA kid, after I worked all night and cleaned up, I was ready to go home. Not these kids. They wanted to go on that hayride, ride around the block back here and just have fun. They invited me, so I decided, oh yeah, I'm gonna go on this. Then they wanted to sing songs. I then realized none of us knew songs except for Christmas songs. Myself and those kids sang Christmas songs throughout the community at the top of our lungs and had a blast. They didn't want to go home. We picked up a teacher on the side of the road that too wanted to teach us Christmas songs. So there's fun things happening. I see Sky Schluter posting things that her kids are doing. There's the Safety Patrol was raising money to go on a trip to Washington. I believe it's Washington for they haven't made their decision on where they're going yet, but they're trying to raise $40,000 for those kids. If you see our kids working out in the community and trying to do something, help us support them. I think that's all.
Thank you, Kim. I love your positivity.
I try my best.
You do good. We appreciate that very much. I just want to say a couple things. I sent you all the Senate recommendation for the deregulation for the DOE, and I was thrilled, and I know you guys are, that the Senate Education Committee is recommending to eliminate the 10th grade ELA and Algebra 1 EOC requirement for graduation. So if that, the bills should probably drop Monday, and they have asked that we, as a group, really talk to our delegation about how much we support these dereg ideas. So I will get something out to you all that we can all maybe do some blast emails. And anybody in the community that would like to help us do that, because we've been graduating kids for over 20 years with a certificate of completion that they can't do anything with. So this is the year that might actually be changed. And so that's super big news for me. We did invite, just to let everybody know, Senator Grahl and Representative Tuck to attend our November 16th presentation. And if the audience isn't aware of it, we are going to have a parent of a Parkland student who was killed will be there speaking, so the public will be invited. We'd love to have you all. And I also requested meetings with Representative Tuck and Senator Grahl while we're in Tallahassee in January for days in the legislature. So hopefully we'll get on their calendar and we'll get to visit with both of them before we leave. Another thing, Mr. Boyles They did a great presentation about our roof at the elementary at the last one. And then thank you, Mr. Boyles, for that summary that you sent in email. It was excellent. And I think we maybe need to put that back on the agenda to, do we need to vote on that? Because,
Yes.
okay, because, after all was said and done, I know I'm going right back to where you started. 60 grand, patch it the best we can, and try to get in the new school as soon as possible, because the other amount, the 200 and something thousand, 235 or something, is a lot of money to put in a building you're about to tear down. Close to 400, okay, so, but I did appreciate that you wrote in there something about other possible uses, so maybe we need to talk about that, but I don't know how we could afford that right now with the new school construction. So anyway, I just think we need to get that, we need to get the leaks fixed as soon as possible. And then I just wanted to say, one more thing, it's your turn. I did meet with Iris at the public library. She's amazing. And she already has set a meeting on December 18th. She'll be coming to the high school, issuing library cards to our students and teachers. And even the tests that our college kids need to get into college, the PERC test, that was on there. There's just hundreds of certification exams that our students and our teachers will have access to for free with a public library card. So they're gonna go to the school, get them the card, show them how to use it, and hopefully our teachers, that test that we were talking about, that test is on there, the study guide for that test. So, and then once we get done with that, we'll go out to Westglades, because even the state exam study guides are on there. It's the old FSA, but it's probably very similar to what we're given now. And it's just a gold mine of information it has like second grade, third grade, fourth grade, math, English, it's amazing. So anyway, that's all for me. So we'll move on to our superintendent's report.
So Ms. Prowine and Ms. Drake kind of took a bunch of what I was going to talk about, but that's okay too. Ms. Clemens, I just want to publicly say that when you sent me the email today, one of the questions, it didn't make me mad, it hurt my feelings, because I feel like that, and I'll let everyone know what the context, but I just wanted you to know. Some of the teachers are in here tonight. So when we had an opening at Moorhaven Elementary School, and when we were under DA status at Moorhaven Elementary School, and so they needed a principal. That staff, and let's take the staff out of it, those students have seen come and go, come and go, come and go. And I wanted to make sure that that there was a consistent person there, someone that I trusted, and someone that I knew could get the job done and that could give the time and the energy to doing what that school truly needed. And that person that, first off, I've spoken for 3 years about how there's no depth, that having depth in this county is very important. We only have, I believe, 5 people currently in the district that have educational leadership on their degree or on their certificate. So finding someone to go to the elementary school that wants to be there, because I could put someone there, but if they don't want to be there, they're not going to give that school what that school deserves. So I placed myself there, and then, I feel like that, and everyone that knows me knows, my work ethic is comparable to, I would stand up with anyone. And I'm going to be here all hours of the night, or working all hours. In fact, my teacher said the 2 a.m. emails were enough. But I want to say this because I questioned myself, and that's why I got mad. Because I questioned myself after I received the email from you. No, I wasn't upset with you, and I want you to understand that. I was upset that someone thought so, don't even, why anyone would have said, asked the question, was I getting paid to be the principal and the superintendent? First off, number one, even if this board offered to pay me, I would not accept that money, number one. Number two, it made me question, so I called the state association, my state superintendent association, and I asked the attorney for the state's, and he guaranteed me, and I wrote this down, he said, it is your statutory function of my job as a superintendent to make sure this district runs to the very best that it possibly can. And wherever there's a weakness in this system, that's where I need to focus my attention. And right now, it's at Moorhaven Elementary School. At no fault of those teachers, no fault of that staff, and no fault of those kids, but because of adult problems. So I'm the one that's gonna fix it. Did I have to do it? Absolutely not. Did I wanna do it? Absolutely. And when someone comes and they apply at that school, and they meet my very high bar, because I'm going to tell you right now, I am loving it. I am loving it. I am loving it, loving it. And I can tell you that I want someone in there that's going to love it and love those babies like I do. So I just want to put that out there that I wasn't angry at you. And any time anyone from the public wants to have a conversation with me, I've been 100% willing. I've gone to some places. I've gone to some places that have asked for meetings, and I walk in and I'm one of about 20, and I'm going to defend what I feel is right. But I can't, when someone questions if I'm, I couldn't stomach that. So I
I do
wanted
have
that.
to clarify, I want people to reach out to me, but I do not want to give you an answer that I think. If I give you
Yep.
an answer back, I want it to be 100% confident that I know what I'm talking about. So that is what directed that email today, because I wanted clarification and something to fall back on. No,
Well, if
that's
y'all
okay.
were paying me, you would know it, because the board would have to approve it
And
first.
I'm, like I said, I'm learning as well, just as well
Yep.
as anyone else on the board. There's laws that go into effect and everything else, so I just want to make sure I have my knowledgeable answer to reply back to anybody that asks me any kind of questions, to give them from the top.
Okay. So I would like to compliment the board for the board workshop that we were going over policies. I don't know about you all, but it's like every time we do this, it's like I find, oh my gosh, I sent Carla a text message and I'm like, do we have In God We Trust? And she goes, it's right when you walk in. But it's stuff that if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't know to look for it. So a couple of things, that the board asked, we talked about, standing, about the moment of silence and about, are we, well, I know at Moorhaven Elementary now, I know for a fact they're doing that. I know they were doing that as well. But what does the statute say? And it says that you can stand for 1 to 2 minutes. That's appropriate. So, just making sure all schools are doing that. But I just want to compliment you for a great workshop, and I'm looking forward to, as I said earlier, I'm looking forward to more workshops, because I think as a board, that's where we get a lot out of each other, and it's a growth mindset. So, and like I said, Ms. Crowant and Ms. Drake, and I do want to go, Ms. Drake. I asked Ms. Drake if she would. So since Ms. Drake has been retired, Ms. Drake has been looking for something to do. So I asked Ms. Drake, she's been talking to me about the library books and removing library books and following the state guides. I don't know if you want to talk about that some right now?
Go ahead.
Okay. But it's a lot, and so all teachers' libraries must be vetted for books that are correct. And so Miss Drake has volunteered to spearhead that for me. And I love it, the fact that this board has been extremely helpful. Anyone on this board, I'll call and say, hey, can you do this? Or I'm over at the elementary school now, I'm going to need some help with this. Not only the board, but my directors have just been amazing. And so I want to thank everyone for that. But back to Ms. Straight, so she has a plan. I would like for you to address everyone and let them know what you're doing, because it is a lot of work, but she is going to spearhead it for me.
Okay, well, quickly, what we're doing first of all is just doing the classroom library inventories. And so I've been working with Whitney. We thought about buying a different app to do it, which we did, which I worked on in another school, but it was a very small school. So we have Destiny, the Destiny Library Inventory System in the county. So we're going to use that system, and we're going to hire some temporary help. We're probably going to hire a couple of our substitutes to come in and actually do the book scanning, because we did 13,000 books, and it took about 40 hours of work. So it's going to take at least a month or more to get them all scanned in. So we are asking teachers to clean out their book library first before we start, and get rid of anything that's old or that kids aren't using, just to maybe cut down the number we have to do. And then that list of books will then be placed on each school's website. So if a parent wants to know, is a certain book in their child's school, they will have access to that on our website. And then after that point, the next thing that we might want to look at is vetting our books at the high school level. For instructional materials are supposed to be vetted by a media specialist as well. So, but the first process, the first big chunk is getting all the K-5 libraries online. So.
Okay. Also, just trying to, the school finance part of it, and now we've had a lot of questions about, where are we? Are we healthy financially? Are we being good stewards of the money? One of the questions that I sent to Carol, and I was just interested to know a couple things, and I just want you all to know it, just where you can, you can carry this out and talk to people. The very first thing is I asked her, where are we ranked per student allocation in the state? Each state, each district is given different amounts of money, and how, when you use your teacher salary and everything combined, that's how you're ranked. And according to the state of Florida, out of 67 districts, we are ranked number 9, and that is excellent. That's great. Considering that out of 67 districts, our neighbors, Hendry is ranked 67. Also, Hardy is, which is close, is ranked 51st. And DeSoto is ranked 33rd. And I'll send you all this graph so you can have it. But our finances are good. Yes, ma'am? Okeechobee is ranked, well, I'll just give you this. Monroe's ranked 1st. And Collier's ranked 3rd. And Okeechobee is ranked, hold on, .34th.
Thank you.
And we're
So,
ninth
we were,
out
yeah,
of per student allocation.
yes, ma'am,
That's how much we spend per student.
per student, yes, ma'am.
We're up there with the rich districts.
We are. The other thing I asked her, and just where you all can know this, is about our teacher. I know we're going to a negotiator, and that's something that the board, that you felt was necessary. It was on the agenda tonight. But I wanted to start that in 2020, our base teacher salary was $39,868. Now our base teacher salary is $51,000. So plus our insurance that we're given for our teachers is substantial this year. And we have a great working relationship with the union. Union leadership is strong in all schools. And so I am looking forward to continuing, even though I'm not going to be the chief negotiator, I am going to be sitting in negotiations. I'm not going to step back on that. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, if there's no further comment, I'll adjourn the meeting.